Silent Hill 2 retells the story of James Sunderland, a widower who goes to the town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his dead wife, Mary. Hello and welcome back to another review from HLH Reviews. Today is my long overdue review of Silent Hill 2, the remake to the original game of the same name from 2001. First and foremost, I just want to apologize for the long delay of getting, this review out. And it's mostly because of the fact I didn't want to, just get my review out the moment I did my first playthrough, as well as the fact that I just didn't want this, amazing experience to end. Like, I wanted to keep playing the game for as much as I can, and I did so. I'm one of those PlayStation players that tries to go for the platinum, if I can anyway. So, yeah, I just didn't want this experience to end, and I just wanted to keep playing, but inevitably, I have my limits, so I had to end it once I got that platinum. But now, with that out of the way, and the fact that I'm just dressed for the occasion, let's talk about the Silent Hill 2 remake. The Silent Hill 2 remake, just like its original counterpart, is a survival horror game in the third-person point of view, this time over the shoulder. As you control James Sunderland, you have to survive in this horror experience as you defend yourself against these monsters in the town, solve puzzles, and go and see if Mary really died or not by finding her in the town of Silent Hill. So, is the Silent Hill 2 remake a perfect remake that replaces the original despite it being genuinely one of the greatest video games ever made? Or should the original just simply be left alone? Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't replace the original, but it's fucking almost perfect, so let's go ahead and talk. Now, we're going to start this review off by talking about my one-ups about the Silent Hill 2 remake. And the first thing that I like to get out first is I love how very faithful this remake is to the original game. It stays very faithful to what made the original one of the greatest games ever made, while at the same time doing things differently to give you a different experience than what was in the original, which is what a remake is supposed to do. So I don't want to hear any Resident Evil fan who bitched about RE3 remake wanting to, bitch at me in the comments of what makes a remake or not. It does follow the same story as the original. It has all the endings, yes, including dog and UFO. It adds 2 more endings, and it does things differently with the characters, the atmosphere, the enemies, the boss battles, and even the locations. I loved the way the town of Silent Hill looks. The town of Silent Hill has always had like this ominous feeling within itself, but the remake adds in something like you would see something out of The Last of Us. In the original, the town felt like it was frozen in time, as if there's no signs of aging, cracks, or anything that the world's elements could do to it. While the town is empty, it's being taken over by vegetation growing on the houses, and there's also signs of grime, mold, and even dust on anything because there is no human life to take care of the town. It was a very welcome change, as that was something that was never in the original, and it gives this town an even more ominous feeling than it ever had. There's also some stylistic choices that they add in here, like falling leaves and rain to make the town, have some form of a pinch of life. Kind of like how it snowed in the original Silent Hill to give you some form of life in a grisly setting. Otherworld looks amazing in the remake. Now, the original Silent Hill 2's transition to the Otherworld was not as noticeable, at least to me, due to how decrepit its locations already looked before you head into the Otherworld. That is not the case in the remake, guys. The location of Woodside Apartments already has like that dusty and moldy look to it, but the moment you cross over to the Blue Creek Apartments, it feels like you literally just walked yourself straight into hell. The way that the Otherworld looks, with that metal and rusty look to it, the way it looked in the original Silent Hill's Otherworld, it genuinely unnerved me, and it did not make me want to continue going forward, but I had to anyway. Like, and there's also locations that they further improved upon, like Toluca Prison and Labyrinth were just some of the most scary, intense areas that I have yet played in a horror game. And that adds into like these enemies you encounter and its atmosphere that already adds more unnerving to the players. So yeah, I love the look of the town of Silent Hill and the other world in the remake. The enemies in the remake are much scarier than what we got in the original, which is something I was not expecting at all. I mean, the lying figures here are just as creepy as ever, and now you have another variant of them in the other world that have, like, their acidic mist explode once you kill them. The nurse enemies are just as vicious with their knives and steel pipes like they did in the original, and they can also trick you into thinking you killed them, as there were a couple of times where I felt like I hit them enough times only for them to continue wanting to get my ass handed to them. And the fucking mannequin enemies were my favorite, as they were the scariest enemies to encounter in the remake. They now just hide in certain areas where you won't see these fuckers coming at you until it's too late and they hit you. And that is pretty much the only time in this game where it wants to jump scare you. And I got startled a lot, even when I was trying to be careful and look for the mannequin enemies. There's also a new variant with the mannequin enemies that they do where they now crawl like a spider on the walls, and just like the regular mannequins, you won't see these guys coming until they hit you from behind after leaping off the wall. The atmosphere and the enemies all together makes this not only the scariest Silent Hill game I've played yet, but also makes it scarier than the original, because there just wasn't much in the original that scared me. I mean, I loved the look of the original game with the town of Silent Hill, but other than those, like, whispers that you got a couple of times, there just wasn't much in the original that scared me. So essentially, it's like you transition from watching some old horror movie to playing Outlast in the remake. The boss battles were so highly improved upon in the remake. Like, the boss battles in the original were, fine for survival horror standards of the time, where you would have to, stay in place and only shoot at a distance, and then just run when the boss got close to you. And then you have the remake where the over-the-shoulder camera, like, allows you to do, like, you get to run, dodge, and shoot while, you're walking or running. And the boss battles are probably, like, the tensest boss fights that I've played in a very long time. Every single boss battle is improved than what you got in the original, and whether that's like from the first Pyramid Head boss fight to the Fresh Lips boss battle in the hospital, and even the Abstract Daddy boss fight, which ended up being my favorite for how tense and scary it felt, especially with like the walls are crumbling and the Abstract Daddy is chasing you as you're trying to shoot it. The puzzles were fun to solve in the remake, and they were also improved upon from the original. And while they are simple and easy to solve, though, again, that depends on, what difficulty you're playing, it's fun to solve them, whether that's flipping and placing coins in the right spot, placing down weights in the correct order on this scale to unlock doors in the Toluca prison. You're picking the right hanged man as well in the Toluca prison. And you're even figuring out, how, the correct ways to get the figurines to cross over in the music box. So all in all, the puzzles can be a very fun experience just so you can get through to the next area, just like as they were in the original. The characters that you get in here, they are just as good as they were in the original game. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth with them as I did in my review for the original, nor am I ever going to be talking about the plot because it's basically the exact same. You have James, who is just like as he was in the original, who is desperate to see if his dead wife is actually in Silent Hill. And even though you, of course, learn later that he killed his wife to end the pain the illness was giving her, you still have, like, a feel of sympathetic towards him because of the way he interacts with, you know, the people around him. You have Angela, who is a victim of domestic abuse from her father, who she later on murdered. Eddie is a glutton that later shows he's a psychopath because he's a victim of bullying and name-calling. And Laura here, she's just as bratty as ever until the end of the game. They also add in some more details with the characters if you're clever enough as a viewer. They show you that James is no longer wearing his wedding ring, as you can see an indentation on his, ring finger. Angela has bitten her nails raw, and Eddie shows to be wearing childlike clothing, making him a man in child clothes. And they also add in this detail that we see earlier that, he was vomiting in the hotel, or in the Woodside Apartments, rather, after finding a dead man in the kitchen. And we see him eating ice cream in the theater. And then, you have James who just says,
"Well, at least you got your appetite back."
And the face that Eddie makes looks like he's offended by that comment because he's thinking that James is talking about his weight, which that is something that obviously James didn't mean in any way, shape, or form. Maria has been given a redesign, but she's just as seductive to James like she was in the original, or even more so, because there's this scene that they add in here at Heaven's Night, the nightclub, where she's trying to make James drink with her, but he refuses. And again, if you're a clever viewer, in a split second, you can see her eyes go to the drink and then back to James before she finally gives up and drinks by herself. You can tell by the facial expressions that James makes that he's showing that he was struggling with his decision to not drink with Maria, just further adding in that Maria was trying to seduce James in a way to connect with her.
No? You sure? Fine. Be that way. Here's to hope undying.
We should probably get going.
Fine. Ready when you are.
The performances given by the actors, other than one, which I will get to in a bit, they were all great. You have James Sunderland here, who is played by Luke Roberts, who is an actor that I am not at all familiar with, other than his minor role that he had as Thomas Wayne in The Batman with Robert Pattinson. So I had a completely fresh opinion of him playing, a lead role. He did a fantastic job, especially with the facial expressions that he's able to convey as James.
Hey, where are you going?
I need to find Mary.
Didn't you say she died?
Oh. Yeah. 3 years ago. It's just... I got a letter from her.
Can't we stay? Just for a little while. Catch our breath before we head back out there.
I don't have time to take a break. Mary could be out there, waiting for me.
I can give you what she never could. I can be better than her. What else do you want me to be? What else can I be?
I am so sorry, Maria. I really am. But this has to stop. It's time to let it go.
You have Gina Keel in here who's playing Angela, who I honestly think she might be easily the best performer in this remake. She very easily plays the part well, especially when Angela starts getting PTSD of her abuse.
No! I'm sorry! I've been bad! Please don't! Please. You shouldn't be here.
Angela, it's okay.
No, don't touch me!
Angela, please.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead. Say it. Or you could just force me. Like he always did. You disgusting pig. I hate you. I hate you.
And then you have Scott Haining in here who plays Eddie, who, even though he kind of has like this Jonah Hill type of voice coming out of him, he does a great job of playing Eddie that, you know, you start to sympathize with him until he turns psycho at the end of the Labyrinth section.
Hey, who's there?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, I swear.
Hey, are you okay?
I didn't do anything. He was like that when I got here.
He... Oh, you mean the man back there? In the kitchen?
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't kill him. Ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head and...
Eddie, what are you doing?
What's it look like I'm doing? You fat, disgusting piece of shit, you make me sick. You gonna cry, fat ass? You gonna run to your mama? Waste of skin, why don't you just kill yourself? Well, maybe he was right. Maybe I am nothing but a fat, disgusting piece of shit. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, ugly, pretty. It's all the same once you're dead. And a corpse can't laugh!
Eddie.
What's that? You want to talk down to me some more? Tell me to relax? You're just like the rest of them, James.
No, I don't want...
Shut up!
Then you have Evie Templeton, who's playing Laura, who is very easily able to show Laura being bratty while also doing very well with the scenes that she does with James at the end and in the hotel section. And she's supposedly going to be reprising her role for Return to Silent Hill, a film adaptation to Silent Hill 2, so it should be fun to see her play the role again in live action, because she did good as well.
Hey, It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
Maybe I did.
What's a little girl like you doing here anyway?
I dunno. What's a big dum-dum like you doing here anyway?
Hey, that's not very nice. Didn't your parents teach you any manners? What you got there?
None of your business. You didn't love Mary anyway.
Laura?
Haha.
Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya?
Laura, open this door right now.
What's the magic word?
Laura!
Nope, that's not it. I guess I won't open it.
Get me out of here, you rat!
In your dreams, fart face.
Please open the door. There's something in here.
Sure there is. A big lying fart face. See ya, fart face!
Laura! Laura!
I knew it. You didn't care about her. I hate you, James! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
Now it's time where we encounter minor glitches. Essentially, these are the things I'm mixed about, and the only thing that I'm going to be saying here is the graphics settings. Now, I'm not someone that can very easily look for the best settings on, for graphics, especially when I'm playing on a 4K television. Now, I was very easily able to figure out the best HDR settings that work best for my television. The one thing that I just didn't like about the graphics settings, at least for how it felt for me anyway, they only give you two options, quality and performance. Now, quality essentially just makes the game run as crisp and pretty as it can, but it gives you a lowered frame rate. And then you have performance that reduces the quality slightly just to give you a higher frame rate. Now, either way, the game looks amazing, no matter which setting you choose, but there was some flaws that I saw no matter which setting I chose. The performance setting had a couple of visual issues that looked weird. The performance setting had a couple of visuals that looked weird to me, like seeing flame flickers that for whatever reason have like this thick line across the screen, and using the quality setting fixed that issue for the most part, but I could still see some visuals like that, but it wasn't not nearly as present. And again, the game looks amazing no matter which setting you prefer, but I wish that developers found a way for console gamers like me to have like a happy medium to have the best quality possible instead of reducing things here and there for whatever reason. And now we move on to getting hit with that goddamn blue shell. The part where I have issues anyway, which I only have one, which is the performance given by the actress playing Mary and Maria. And I'm not gonna bother mentioning her name because I just don't want to butcher her Icelandic name whatsoever. But the woman that they got to play Mary and Maria, like, she does fine in certain scenes. Like, I think she does best when she's trying to, like, seduce James in the nightclub or even in the labyrinth section.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
But I did not like the way she performed the "anyway" scene from the Otherworld Hospital.
James!
Mary! Oh. Maria, I thought... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? I was almost killed back there. I have never been so scared in my whole life. All you care about is that dead wife of yours.
You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I just...
Then stay with me. Don't leave me alone again. You're supposed to take care of me.
Her performance just felt rushed as hell, and it just does not hit the same as Monica Taylor Horgan did in the original. Like when Monica screamed anyway, like she did in the original, like I was genuinely taken aback, and like you can just like feel the emotions that Monica was doing in the original. You don't get that at all in the remake. And there's also some issues I had, like the scene that she's performing as Mary before you fight her. Again, felt rushed as hell.
I won't let you do this to me. I won't let you go. I can't!
And although I still got teared up at the end with Mary's letter that closes the Leave ending, which, again, that's the ending that I mostly attach myself to with this story because it just makes the most narrative sense and it feels the most rewarding. And again, even though I still got teared up with the letter at the end, it just doesn't feel as emotional the way Monica Taylor Horgan did it in the original, where, again, that was all done in one take, and I just bought into, Monica Taylor Horgan's, sadness coming out of her. This one, not as much. I mean, again, she does fine in, certain scenes here and there. And, again, especially when she's trying to, seduce James. But there were moments where I would go, yeah, no, sorry, lady, no, Monica Taylor Horgan did this better in 2001.
I told the nurse to give this to you after I'm gone. Which means that, as you're reading this, I'm already dead. But that's okay. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I just hope the pain will end soon. So that you remember me for who I was. And not what the disease made me. I want you to go on. I want you to live. For yourself and for others. Like you did for me. James. You made me happy.
But, in conclusion, Silent Hill 2 is by far the best remake that I have played yet. It stays faithful to the original game without replacing it in any way, shape, or form, which that wasn't at all what Bloober Team intended whatsoever. There are things in this remake that I honestly do prefer a lot over the original, and that's just simply due to the fact that I find the game to be much more scarier than the original, with, the atmosphere and the enemies are a lot scarier. The boss battles and the combat system, too, was like a huge improvement. And I liked, the little and new details that they added to the characters, and especially within the world of this remake. And honestly, with a great comeback like this, I am excited for the future of this franchise. And it should be fun to see if Bloober Team is going to get that creative fire lit under their ass once again to give us great remakes to the original Silent Hill and Silent Hill 3. Hopefully that's a world where I am happy to live in. Now, time to wrap this up with my consensus. Silent Hill 2 is by far one of the best remakes to ever come into existence. It stays faithful to the original while doing things differently to serve as a companion piece rather than replace the original. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please tell me how you feel about this game down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you would like to see some more from me in the near future, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can get notified every single time I upload. I hope you all have a blessed life, and in case I don't ever get to meet you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And happy Halloween.